All right, so you wanted the inside scoop on Bill Gates meeting with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago right before Trump's second inauguration.
Yeah.
Well, buckle up, because we dove into the first-hand accounts, and let me tell you,
Oh, where?
it's like we were flies on the wall at this historic 3-hour dinner.
It's pretty amazing to think about the timing of it all. You know, the world was still dealing with like all the fallout from COVID-19.
Right.
You have these two guys
Yeah.
with the potential to really impact global health just sitting down together.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a meeting that could have some serious ripple effects
Yeah.
on like policies and initiatives for years to come, you know?
Absolutely.
And the setting,
Oh, yeah.
Mar-a-Lago,
Lago.
dubbed the center of the universe by Trump himself.
It's
Talk about a charged atmosphere.
especially considering Trump had just been reelected.
Oh,
He was probably looking to, cement his legacy as a leader committed to like innovation and public health.
Right. And, Bill Gates, with his work with the Gates Foundation, tackling diseases like polio and HIV, I mean, you could bet he saw this dinner as a chance to really advocate for like continued investment in those areas.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, like, could these two men from such different worlds, actually find common ground to make a difference?
Well, according to Gates himself, the dinner was intriguing and impressive. Not words you'd expect him to just throw around lightly.
Right.
It seems like Trump was really captivated by the discussion. He was, asking questions,
Wow.
showing a genuine interest in the U.S. government's role in achieving these goals.
So what exactly were these goals they were talking about? It sounds like they covered a lot, like from polio eradication
Yeah, they did cover a lot.
to lessons learned from COVID-19, all the way to breakthroughs in HIV research.
And one of the most pressing topics was polio eradication. Gates has been on a mission to wipe this disease off the planet.
Right.
But he emphasized that even like a small lapse in effort could allow it to resurge.
Oh, wow.
And reverse decades of progress.
I see where the urgency comes in.
Yeah.
But how did Trump respond to this? Like, was he on board with prioritizing something like that?
It seems like he was, yeah. Reports suggest he was actively engaged in this part of the discussion, which makes sense considering his, his inclination towards impactful initiatives.
Yeah.
It's not hard to imagine the appeal of a polio-free world,
Right.
as like a legacy-defining achievement during his term.
Yeah, that's quite a compelling narrative.
Right.
But how did this conversation about polio connect to other global health challenges?
Well, Gates drew a fascinating parallel to the fight against HIV.
Okay.
He pointed to the rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines as a model for what could be possible in HIV research.
Okay, that is an interesting connection. I mean, the pandemic did show us that with strong collaboration between governments and private companies and research institutions, innovation can happen really fast.
Yeah.
But do we know if that was like a key takeaway for both of them?
It seems so. They probably saw the pandemic as like a blueprint for tackling other global health challenges. It wasn't just about, celebrating past successes. It was about looking at ways to translate those lessons into future breakthroughs.
But let's be real for a second. Like, we've all seen those political photo ops that kind of fizzle out,
Oh, yeah.
Was there any indication that this was like more than just talk?
Well, accounts suggest both men left the dinner with a shared sense of purpose.
Okay.
They seem to believe that their dialogue could actually pave the way for meaningful change.
So not just a feel-good moment, but like a genuine meeting of the minds with the potential for real-world impact.
That seems to be the consensus. And remember, this wasn't just a meeting about problems.
Right.
It was about solutions. They were exploring how to use their individual strengths and their networks to make a real difference.
It's like they were saying, look, we might come from different worlds, but we have a shared goal here. Let's figure out how to work together to make it happen. I have to admit, I'm starting to see how this dinner could be more significant than it first appeared.
It certainly has the potential to be. And the key takeaway here is this wasn't just about two powerful individuals.
Right.
What they discussed could have like a ripple effect on policies and initiatives that impact millions, maybe even billions of lives around the world.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. So what specifically did they discuss that could lead to such widespread change?
Well, that's what we'll unpack next.
Okay.
We'll dive deeper into the potential areas of collaboration and the concrete actions that could stem from this intriguing encounter. Stay with us.
All right. Okay, you've convinced me this dinner was more than just a photo op. So let's get down to brass tacks. What were some of the concrete things that Gates and Trump might have discussed that could actually lead to action?
Well, we know that polio eradication was high on the agenda.
Yeah.
You know, Gates, with all his experience through Gates Foundation, probably laid out a strong case for continued U.S. involvement and support.
And knowing Trump's style, I could see that resonating with him.
Yeah.
Especially if Gates emphasized how close we are to actually eradicating polio.
Exactly, yeah. Imagine a world without polio achieved during Trump's second term. I mean, it's a powerful legacy to leave behind.
Yeah.
But they probably went deeper than just, general support. They might have discussed ways to, optimize the eradication efforts.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about vaccine distribution.
Okay.
Getting those vaccines to, really remote areas, especially in developing countries.
Right.
That's a massive logistical challenge.
Yeah.
So Gates likely highlighted the need to strengthen those networks.
Right. And after the COVID-19 pandemic, we all saw how crucial effective distribution is.
Yeah.
Did they talk about any other lessons learned from the pandemic?
Absolutely. One key takeaway from the pandemic was the importance of public awareness campaigns.
Oh, yeah.
You remember all that talk about vaccine hesitancy?
Right.
Well, Gates and Trump might have considered how to tackle that issue with polio.
Now that you mention it, Trump was a master communicator.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Could you imagine him using his platform to actually champion polio eradication?
It's an intriguing possibility, yeah. I mean, love him or hate him,
Right.
Trump knew how to connect with a certain segment of the population.
Right.
And if he'd gotten behind polio eradication, it might have reached a much wider audience than just traditional public health messaging.
Talk about a surprising twist. A Trump rally for vaccines? Who would have thought? But let's move on to something else they discussed, HIV. Gates was really keen on connecting the rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines to the potential for breakthroughs in HIV research.
He was, and Trump was very proud of Operation Warp Speed, the program that helped accelerate the COVID-19 vaccine development.
Right.
So Gates might have suggested using a similar approach to fast-track HIV treatments and vaccines.
So instead of starting from scratch,
right,
they'd look at what worked with Operation Warp Speed and apply those lessons to HIV.
Precisely. Yeah. Think about it. They might have discussed streamlining the approval process for new HIV treatments.
Okay.
Maybe even replicating those emergency use authorizations we saw for COVID-19 vaccines.
It seems you wonder how different the global health landscape might look
if
they could have pulled that off. But I have to ask, did they discuss the financial side of things? I mean, these initiatives require massive investments.
Oh, I'm sure they did. You know, with Trump's business background, they might have explored incentives for pharmaceutical companies to get involved.
Oh.
Think tax breaks or research grants, anything to encourage investment in global health solutions.
Wow. You're painting a picture of a surprisingly productive meeting here. But this was just one dinner. How could they possibly have covered all these topics in such a short amount of time?
Well, remember, they had a focused agenda and likely came prepared with specific ideas and proposals.
Okay.
And let's be honest, these are two incredibly driven individuals.
Yeah.
So they likely pushed each other to think big and consider really bold solutions.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But all this talk about policies and initiatives, it's kind of abstract.
Yeah.
What would the real world impact be for, the average person?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? So let's imagine for a moment that their discussion about polio actually led to renewed U.S. commitment and more effective strategies. That could mean a future where no child has to suffer from this devastating disease.
No more iron lungs, no more lifelong disabilities. It's hard to even grasp the magnitude of that kind of impact.
And what if their focus on replicating Operation Warp Speed for HIV research actually led to a breakthrough?
Yeah.
Imagine new treatments, preventative measures, even a cure
for
a disease that has affected, millions worldwide.
That would be incredible. It's like a ripple effect,
Exactly.
starting with a single dinner and spreading out to touch countless lives.
Exactly. And let's not forget the bigger picture message their collaboration would send. That even in a politically polarized world,
Yeah.
finding common ground and working together is possible.
It's a powerful message of hope. But let's be honest, Bill Gates and Donald Trump, they're not exactly known for their humility. What was the dynamic like between these two, like, larger-than-life personalities?
Yeah.
Did they actually, like, connect on a human level?
Yeah, it really is fascinating to think about those personalities in a room together. You have Bill Gates, the tech giant turned philanthropist,
Right.
known for like his data-driven approach.
Yeah.
And then you have Donald Trump, the businessman turned president, often relying on like gut instinct and deal making.
Yeah.
Did they clash, or did they find some common ground?
Well, according to Gates, he was frankly impressed by Trump's, level of engagement
Yeah.
and genuine interest in the issues they talked about.
Okay.
It kind of suggests a level of rapport there,
Yeah.
which is pretty surprising considering their very different backgrounds.
It is. It's a reminder that you can never really predict how people are going to interact. But it also raises a bigger question. Is it appropriate for someone like Bill Gates, a private citizen, to have so much influence on global health policies? Right. That's a debate that's been going on for a while now. You have to consider, the immense good the Gates Foundation has done,
Right.
fighting malaria, polio, HIV. It's hard to imagine achieving the same progress without their involvement.
That's true. I mean, they've poured billions into these initiatives. But on the flip side,
Right.
shouldn't elected officials be the ones setting those priorities?
That's a valid concern. And it's not just about Bill Gates, right?
Right.
We've seen this trend of billionaire philanthropy growing in recent years. Think Mackenzie Scott, Elon Musk. I mean, these individuals are wielding incredible power.
Right.
And it really does raise questions about, accountability and transparency.
Exactly. Like, how do we make sure this kind of philanthropy is actually serving the needs of the communities it's meant to help?
Right.
And not just advancing the donors' personal agendas.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. There's no easy answer, but it starts with having, open and honest conversations about the role of private wealth in shaping global policies.
Okay.
We need to examine the motives,
Right.
evaluate the impact,
Yeah.
and hold both donors and recipients accountable.
So it's not about, demonizing philanthropy.
Right.
It's about having a critical eye
Yeah.
and making sure it aligns with, the values of democracy and equity.
Precisely. It's about empowering communities to have a voice in their own future,
Right.
not having solutions kind of imposed on them.
We started this deep dive focusing on a single dinner,
We did.
but it's really opened up a whole conversation about, like, wealth and influence and global health.
Yeah.
It's amazing how seemingly unconnected events can, like, intertwine
Right.
in these unexpected ways.
Yeah, that's the beauty of taking a deep dive, right? You start with a specific event or a piece of information, and it leads you down this like rabbit hole
Right.
of interconnected ideas and complexities.
And ultimately, it challenges us to think critically and question our assumptions. So for you listening out there,
Yeah.
we'll leave you with this. What are your thoughts on the role of private individuals like Bill Gates
Right.
in shaping global health policies? Is it a force for good? Is it a potential problem? Is it something in between?
There's no right or wrong answer, but the very act of asking those questions
Yeah.
is a step in the right direction. Keep exploring, keep learning,
Right.
and keep engaging with these complex issues.
Right.
That's how we create a more informed and just world.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out the show notes for links to articles and resources so you can continue your own deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds curious.